Welcome to another episode of the True Beast Podcast, brought to you by xdog.com, where you can find the world's greatest health enhancement harness for dogs, the X-Dog Fitness Vest, which could also be called the X-Dog Anxiety Vest or the X-Dog Behavior Vest. Exercising your dog has never been easier or more effective than with the X-Dog Fitness Vest. So if you're looking to level up your dog's life or enhance its overall health, be sure to check out xdog.com. And today is episode 53. And for those who are new to the podcast, my name is Stan Smith. I am the inventor of the X-Dog Fitness Vest, aka the Health Enhancement Harness. I custom formulate dog food and dog supplements. Been doing it for over 18 years. I have a massive network of dog trainers, handlers, competitors, PhD nutritionists, biochemists, members on AFCO, actually pet owner businesses that do well over the six-figure mark as friends, also animal chiropractics, and I've got an awesome network of dog friend owners. And so we're here to help you optimize your dog's health and overall wellness, and hopefully give you some insight on how to create a business or a project, or even optimize your life in general. Of course, I got my partner over here, Trevor from T-Fit, and Jamarcus, Mr. Live Free, off on the ones and twos. How you guys fellas doing?
Good, man. Today we're actually going to be talking about something that we kind of spoke about earlier, but we titled it something different, and it's screw-ups.
Screw-ups.
Man, got into a good conversation with some people this past weekend, and you get to this place where 9 out of 10, if not 99% of people are afraid to screw up.
Yeah.
So when is it happening? They never try.
Yeah.
And then they get locked into the rabbit hole. So clearly, you don't have a lot of fear when it comes to failure. What's one of the things that taught you to be fearless?
Failing like a motherfucker and then getting through it, right? And so I think we've addressed this a few other times, but in different ways. I constantly tell people all the time, like, these people on social media networks are not your friends. I think Facebook fucked up the word friends and really watered it down, because you think that your followers on friends, right, are actually your friends. And so a lot of people limit themselves from actually going out and doing something because they're going to get a little fucking negative kickback from a fucking member in a Facebook group who doesn't give a shit about you, right? Yeah. And they're like, well, I can't do that because I'm a part of this group and shit like that. Well, I had that happen to me on a massive scale, and I just fucking fought through it. I stood my fucking ground, and I was like, this is what I believe in. I know it works. It's working. These couple individuals who never used the product. Let me ask you both a question. Mm-hmm. Jamarcus, you're in real estate, right?
Yep.
What are you're into what, like NFTs?
Yep.
Bitcoin?
Yep, crypto, all that good
stuff.
stuff.
All right. Would you take advice from someone who has zero experience in any of those areas?
Of course not.
You're into fitness, nutrition. You know where I'm going. Would you take any fucking workout advice from somebody who's never done it?
No.
For whatever reason, a lot of these people I had to deal with are like, well, I heard this and I heard that. Well, have you used the vest? No, I've never touched it. I've never touched with 10-foot pole. Okay, let me ask you a question. You're a dog trainer, right, or a handler. Would you take dog training advice from somebody who's never trained a dog in their life? Of course not. So why are you fuckers taking advice from people who never used the product, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. E-collar, this goes with all tools. E-collars, fucking what else is a tool that gets
prong collars,
slap mills, all like, I think every household should have multiple dog tools.
Yeah.
Period. Because let's look at the fucking facts.
But they're not trying to build a better dog or build a dog at all, let alone build their lives. A lot of people, as you know, they get into that rabbit race.
Yeah, and you know what's fucking so crazy about this shit? What are the 3 things that are the most dangerous tools when misused when it comes to dogs that lead dogs to the highest disease, the most injuries, and sometimes death? Dog food, right? Mm-hmm. Leash and collar, and fucking dog toys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And everybody uses them, but yet you spend countless amount of hours criticizing people online who are investing time in their dogs, utilizing dog tools to improve their quality of life.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. But to answer your question, I had to fall on my face a bunch of times and just keep getting up. And then I just built that threshold to where my ability to handle failure and to embrace failure, it allowed me to change my perspective on it.
Well, then try to help and try to make this make sense to the best of your ability. So what you're speaking of is scrutiny. Here comes the scrutiny when people start doing great things. Yeah. And Bezos said it. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, he said, if you don't want, to get any bad reviews or basically don't achieve anything in life.
Yeah.
He said, then nobody will ever have anything to say.
Yeah.
He said, but nowadays with the internet, you could post a baby and they're gonna complain about the baby. Nothing gets a break. So when you were dealing with this scrutiny and people were harassing you, they were talking bad about you, people who don't work out or understand the importance of, what stress and relieving your body of stress due to exercise and the importance of it, endorphins, all that stuff. When you were dealing with that, it still goes back to, why didn't you quit then? Because some people, that one time, right? In football, could be that one time you got to hit the wrong way. You go, I'm done with this shit. I don't want to get that hard. If you're, practicing MMA, some people tear their ACLs even,
Pain,
and they come right back. And then some people are like, I'm fucking done with this shit because that fear. Whereas other people are like, wait till I get better. I'll see you again, my friend.
Well, they say your next level of growth is through the door threshold of the pain that you go through, right? Yeah. Like it's like if you're able to endure that pain, you're going to hit that next level of your life. And so for me, I think I was just built for this position because, growing up, multiracial, extremely poor, in a mostly predominantly white town, I had massive insecurity because I had one eye, got teased and bullied my entire life to the point where I said, fuck that, I'm going to learn how to fight. You know what I mean? When I was finally able to afford to go train MMA and boxing, kickboxing, and do all that other shit, right? I had thick skin, man, like even like when I was in that predominantly white town.
Is there a way to develop thick skin then?
That's the thing that kind of worries me now, fellas, because you got to think about it, man. Like kids right now, like we just saw this big shooting that happened down in South Texas, right?
Yeah.
It's one of these things like, I'm about to have a son and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to send him to fucking school. I don't, it's like I don't want to overprotect him because, for me, my fucking harsh, the hard life that I had to live, all the fucking things and the pain and I had to endure growing up made me who I am. So I'm fucking strong as fuck, right? Yeah. Where in a lot of cases, a lot of people aren't, man. They didn't go through that. I think that's why they talk about like MMA fighters, right? Like, for example, the kids who grew up in the favelas in Brazil, man, they're literally fighting their way to have a better life. Literally. Yeah. And so, but then you have these kids, man, who are be given like these fucking trust fund babies, right? And they have drug addictions and shit like that they can't beat. So, I think everybody has their own journey. Yeah. And at the same time, their own experiences. And I think that's another thing that's fucked up. A lot of people count other people's money and live a different lifestyle, I think, it's like with dogs in general, right? There's not a one fix all.
No.
Per dog. It's per case.
Absolutely. I literally told Jamarcus to come to me yesterday, and he watched firsthand. I wasn't here when they were doing some confidence, he wasn't, but I said, I'm going to show you how to, basically build some confidence real quick, just in Tron. Yeah. And it takes 2 seconds, but that doesn't work on every dog. Yeah. But you got to understand how to speak dog if you would. Yeah. So then talk about a moment where there was a screw up and you knew you were fucking up and you knew that you had to do better. And is there something you do when things begin to feel like they're failing? To prevent it from like going back to zero in a sense? Because a lot of times, and just to be clear, people like myself, and we talked to a buddy of mine, he didn't get to broke, but he got to a place where he's very uncomfortable. Yeah. And there's a friend of mine who, if he don't have 6 figures in all 5 of his accounts, he starts getting nervous. And I'm talking like, if he gets less than $250,000, he's uncomfortable. Yeah. In any one of his accounts. And he has way more than that, to be clear. Sure. But point is it makes him very uncomfortable around that because his fear is ever going broke again. Yeah. And so he's like, I got to go do something. I got to shift. Yeah. So there's what we call, once you get to a level of success, people, oftentimes there's these marks and times and you go, ooh, we don't want to go back there. Yeah. Because now I can only pay my bills. If something really went wrong, I can only pay my bills, and that's not a good feeling. Yeah. I want to continue to live relatively well. So they start doing things to get back, maybe reinvigorated. Yeah. And just charge back up. But is there a moment where you're like, fuck, we're fucking up? And then is there something you do to prevent it from going way back to zero?
I think we're always evaluating numbers here. Yeah. Right. So
numbers are good. They're honest.
It's one of those things where it's like, man, for example, I would say, let's talk about this year, right? Like my whole goal was to make sure that we don't run out of product, and I start forecasting instead of 6 months, 18 months. Well, I accomplished that goal. I got us the inventory. Now we need to move, and so there's certain expectations. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, for example, I just looked over a couple listings the other day. Our X-Dog Performance Parachute, our Resistance Band, and our Drag Bag. They were on Amazon. They were hijacked. Oh. So we're like, well, why aren't we moving any of these fucking products? I made sure we had them on there. Like, it's been a few days, right? And then I'm like, well, I have a manager managing the account. Maybe, I trusted that they were going to look into it.
Yeah.
They didn't look into it. Asked about it. Asked again. I said, well, okay, let me just look in here. Oh, they've been hijacked.
And what does that mean? Explain.
An individual or company takes over your listing. And they just take your fucking listing. And then yours shows inactive. Or it doesn't show. So, for example, you could type in X-Dog Performance Parachute and it won't even fucking show up.
Oh, shit.
Damn. And so now
That's
you got to be.
Thing, huh?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
What?
And so I think Amazon allows it because then Amazon goes, oh, okay, we can protect you for a fee.
Yep.
So then they got the transparency distributor type fucking certificate now to showcase, because I think that's a common thing because people are able to do it. And then, for example, somebody could order an X-Dog parachute and get some fucking pantyhose or some shit,
Damn.
And that account is collecting revenue from your listing, right? Or from your product, and they're not even sending people the product.
So see, we talked about them learning some of the business people. I just learned something. I've not been in the product space yet. I haven't had the pleasure.
You will be.
Exactly. And part of, having access to a guy like Stan, you get to learn about all the fucked up behaviors. In my mind, I would just make sure that never happens because we want to be reputable.
Yeah.
As far as Amazon's concerned.
Yeah.
Like that should never be an issue because you live and die off of people like myself who distribute things. They don't even make a product. The Nook is done. Like, yeah, people are still going to buy a Nook, but that day of reading things via book or a iPad, yeah, we read things through there, but it's like, it's not the number one seller anymore.
Yeah. Let me look up this. So how many sellers let's see how many sellers Amazon has. Maybe that's something you can look at. How many sellers?
Check and see how many they have, and we'll keep talking about. So a reason why I want to
9.7 million sellers.
There you go.
So do the math on this. So 9.7, let's just say it's $50 to have that full transparency thing a month.
Oh, they do $50
a month. They're a fee, man. It's a fee. It's a month.
You talking about divided by
No, times
multiply.
Oh shit.
So 9.7 million
times 50.
Bro, $485 million.
Now times that times a 12.
Yeah, because that's a month.
Damn, that's $5.8 billion.
Move, right?
Yeah,
just
to protect you.
You see what I'm saying? And so I don't know if we're becoming more aware of this, but it's like they're creating things so they can sell us the solution.
It's just like any, those people who like conspiracies, but sometimes conspiracies don't seem that far off. You go, we're going to create a problem. We're going to solve it.
Baby formula shortage. You know?
I don't know anything about it. What happened?
Well, there's Bill Gates, guess what? They're coming out with a product that'll solve that problem, But it's so fucking crazy. Like the vaccine. Now where there's some type of pox coming out, right? Like,
I did see a little, but I just scrolled past it.
We guarantee there's going to be a vaccine for that.
A new one.
Yeah, and I guarantee it's going to cost you.
But it's always going to cost.
That shit kind of freaks me out. I've had chicken pox. Have you ever had chicken pox?
Man, I had them boogers. They was terrible.
Yeah.
Awful.
It was terrible, man. I'm never going to forget. That is awful, man.
Yeah.
That's not a good feeling. Well, we talk about that, the screw up side of things. And, clearly there's people screwing with the business, man.
Yeah.
And that just goes back to having that tough skin because a lot of times I think the easiest thing for people to do is get discouraged, right?
Yeah.
So what's one of the things that you do to uplift people when they do get discouraged? Because I'm sure now that you're in a position of leadership, you have to mentor people. And a lot of times people don't know that takes a lot of patience.
Well, here's the thing that I learned from, I guess, my mentors and just in the process in general. When things are going good is when you need to get in your team's ass. And when things are going bad, it's when you need to uplift them. Before I used to do opposite. Shit's going bad, get in everybody's ass, Doesn't work. It's when we're doing good, don't allow people to get comfortable. Hey, listen, we're not going to get comfortable. We need to put our foot on the gas even more. Yeah. And that's when you hold people accountable when shit's going good. And then when it's going bad, that's when you got to kind of speak greatness into them.
Yeah. And that's a good way. That's a good, something that people probably incorporate themselves. I try to do it the majority of times and really just even leading by example, right?
Yeah.
That's getting up and doing the work. It's getting up there and walking them through and just, I tell people all the time, just fucking listen. Sometimes people don't even know what they need, but they'll talk and they'll talk and they'll talk. And at some point, something will register with you. Yeah. And they're not hearing what the real problem is.
Sure.
And the real problem, even when we talked about being discouraged, it's a lack of development in character.
Yeah.
So, hey, your dad wasn't there. you know, and so for females sometimes, no disrespect to these women, you know, in this regard, but a lot of times, you know, a dad kind of shows and teaches a woman about her values.
Yeah.
And how to be valued, even by a man, as far as respect is concerned.
Okay.
And then same thing with the mother. She's supposed to teach a male compassion, because the world is an ugly place.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't taught any of those things. So I don't have compassion.
Yeah.
For a lot of things, and I don't have sympathy.
Yeah.
Sympathy makes me sick. I'm like, oh, the fuck over.
I hate when people sympathize for me, all right? Or people, when you know, you get on, and that's a fucking thing that's really like becoming a big deal on social media. It's like, look at me.
Oh, wow.
And they get this fucking dopamine drop because they're getting all this sympathy.
Yeah.
Victim shit, man.
That victim mindset, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck, don't tell me congratulations. I'm not even fucking, like, don't even allow me to get into my head like that. I don't want to hear no congratulations on fucking anything. You know, it's just so old. And it's like motivational posts. I'm so over that shit. Motivational memes and shit.
Bro,
you know,
it's the people who post motivational shit, but it's like they say one thing, but their actions speak completely opposite of that.
Yeah.
All the fucking time. And I see it, and it's just so annoying, man.
It was cool 3 years ago. You
Yeah.
know, like, I don't know. I just, like, I don't even post that shit anymore.
I'm with you 100%. I'm like, how much motherfucking motivation does a person goddamn need?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. At some point, you run out of things to say because now the conversation's cheap. So even before I looked up, like, you know, motivation is a state of being, and being, you know, I talked to Marcus the other day. Being is a verb. Like, there are being verbs.
Yeah.
Is, am, are, was, were, has, have, do, does, did.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. So
Yeah.
if you're being something, you're becoming something. But if you're being nothing,
Yeah.
and you're just sitting on your couch typing from your computer,
Yeah.
and nothing's happening, then you're lying.
Yeah.
And I hate a lie. Look, people don't understand this need, and you know, for those that are religious, I'm not religious, but I know what the Bible says. God hates a liar.
Yeah.
People think there's just supposed to be good things that always happen. The world's a wicked place.
And you know what's even crazier? The ironic part about being a liar is that we lie to ourselves all the fucking time.
But that just goes back to what you just said.
We tell ourselves that we're not capable when we're fucking completely capable. We give ourselves outs. We give ourselves excuses all the fucking time. You know, we lie to ourselves more than we lie to anybody else. And that's why, like, being self-honest was one of these superpower pivots that I had in my life, where it's like, I don't hold my team accountable. If they're fucking up, I'm holding myself accountable because I haven't had a clear conversation of what their expectations are.
There you go. And that right there, people, I love, Damon John said it on the episode of Shark Tank. His fear oftentimes with certain people that he invests in is when a magician believes his own tricks.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the hype. People are, oh, this is so good. Oh, it's all right.
Well, a lot of my mentor friends, man, they say they don't really invest in products. They invest in the person.
Always.
You know?
Always. And because that's going to be the person that drives it. Like, if you're a real investor, you don't have that kind of time to build someone else's business.
Yeah.
And it might just be, hey, we've got a PO problem.
Yeah.
You got a lot of purchase orders. I'm happy to fund that problem.
Yeah.
But the business still needs to run. And I have to trust that you're going to be as interested as I am in your success.
Yeah.
And that means some people get that investment and they're like this. Well, life is good.
Yeah.
But that wasn't to pay you. That was to make you.
Yeah.
And that is the day of a business's real success. Like, oh, you got to go out and do the work. And I love doing the work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things I don't understand how some people don't get it. Like, bro, you got to do the fucking work.
You have to.
Well, yeah, but to that point, the one thing that I've learned from doing the work with you and just in general is that that's what builds real confidence. And
There you go.
I think people forget that at the end of the day.
And that'll prevent you from getting discouraged.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. I saw this thing today where it was like, if you knew an apple tree took 6 years to grow, you would allow it to fucking grow. Did you guys see that?
No,
well, so basically an individual, plants an apple seed. Nothing's fucking, like, it's barely growing over here. So you take it out and you plant it over here. And then you take it out and plant it over here. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people do that with ideas. Yeah. They just don't give it enough time, right?
Yeah.
To just marinate and grow. You got to give things time, man. And that's where I think people fail at. They don't give things enough time.
And
no,
go ahead.
What's interesting is that Alan Stone's a singer, and one of the songs that I enjoy that he sings, he recorded at something 2016. Well, even for those people who are artists right now, let's say you've been fighting the good fight for a very long time, and then TikTok comes along.
Yeah.
And now it yields you 1 million followers.
Yeah.
500,000 followers. You get to express yourself at the highest level right off of your phone.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse anymore. So when you talk about time, you don't even know what's being created. The guys who shot the first Avatar, the blue one.
Yeah.
The blue Avatar, they were like, we were waiting on the technology to catch up to this idea that we had.
Yeah.
And it finally manifested. Somebody figured it out.
Yeah.
Somebody figured it out. And that's the most important. See, time, it cures all.
Yeah.
It really does. But in the time, funny thing about patience, everything takes its time, but you got to work.
Yeah.
And you got to patiently work and do the work because something might happen that changes the trajectory of your business and life forever.
Well, if you look at Kevin Samuels, for example, he was doing that shit fucking since 2012, and he just recently broke.
Yeah.
You know, he
now
really,
he's dead, but yeah.
yeah, but you know, like you said, it just took that. It took some time. You know, like
Consistency.
when I look at the X-Dog Vest, I mean, we're going into our 5th year. You know, I can't wait to see where we're at in 10 years. I knew that we were doing something cutting edge. I knew that we're ahead of everybody. I know that, you know, I've been looking at different things and researching certain things on the, you know, weight vests in general and stuff like that. And then I started seeing these blogs, and I'm seeing all these different blogs and about weight vests and weight jackets for dogs and stuff, man. And a lot of people are writing great things about us. You know, it was really cool to see people I don't even fucking know who they are, but to say, you know, one of the most valuable tools out there. You know, and of course you're still gonna have people nitpick and shit about it, but at the end of the day, man, like, you know, have they ever used it?
Yeah.
How would you know?
Well, and that's the thing too, people, when you are screwing up, first and foremost, get out of your own way and welcome scrutiny.
Yeah.
Scrutiny is the word of the day.
Well,
but
I guess you guys can name it. Like, name somebody really popular right now who ain't getting a bunch of shit talked about them.
oh, that's
That's everybody.
Hey, look, I got a weird comment on my YouTube. Dude's like, hey, nobody's paying attention. He wears orange all the time. He's a part of Illuminati. It's the color 6. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? And they sent me the comment. I go, look, we're not going to reply to that shit. I ain't got that kind of time on my hands.
Yeah.
But there are those kind of people who are somewhere on planet Zootron making up shit. And even if it's all like, hey, no, I don't even know what he's talking about. But the fact that he can come up with all that off of me wearing a colored shirt. and
Well, speaking of that, you hear about Twitter? Like, what? Elon's kind of holding all that because of so many fake fucking accounts, like millions of accounts, you know, just made up accounts that were specifically put on there to almost kind of like attack the right side, you know, and just move the right side away. And now it's like, oh, now they're going to be in a fucking pretty big situation, because imagine all the people who's invested hundreds, if not millions of dollars of advertisement on Twitter, thinking that, hey, I have this huge audience that I'm targeting that doesn't even really exist.
Yeah.
Oof.
Hey, there you go.
Talk about a fuck up, right?
Now that's a screw up, people.
That's a screw up.
Rule 1 in any business is always protect the business.
Yeah.
That's the rule 1. And if your business is supposed to do something very specific, and in this case, put eyeballs on various things, and you advertise that here's an opportunity for more people to see your shit.
Yeah.
And nobody's seeing it but a fucking bot.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
That's a screw up. That is a fucking screw up, man.
Yeah. Another screw up is goes for everybody, just assuming things.
Oh,
you know,
God.
without doing the research.
Well, those are overthinkers too.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the MC Hammer story, you know, when he went broke. Yep. Well, he wasn't really broke. He was MC fucking Hammer. He had 12 mansions when he was broke, right? Yeah. People don't know that, you know, he became an MMA manager, like promoter, like manager. This fool, this amazing guy, right, had invested into like Facebook and like Uber at the very beginning. This guy's fucking hand over fist worth fucking tons of money now, millions of dollars, right? But everybody thought MC Hammer was broke. He wasn't fucking broke. He was a billionaire broke, you know?
There's two kind of brokes, people. It's the broke where you can't buy no milk
or
no bread. And it's kind of broke where I still got 12 homes and life is good type of broke, you know, because those are assets.
Yep.
And he could sell any one of those assets at any moment.
Yeah.
And be okay. But even more importantly, when you see the future, and I mean really see the future, and you're sitting right there at the table, a couple $1,000s could change your life.
Yeah.
To say the least. It's very smart. So moving forward with the screw up, so we're not gonna harp too hard on the screw up. So what's the counter? What's the counter of a screw up?
The counter of the screw up?
Yeah, what's the opposite?
The opposite of a screw up?
Yeah.
Not screwing up. But the only way you can not screw up is just, I would say, what can you get out? A better way to phrase that is like, what are the benefits of a screw up? Would be learning from that screw up.
Yeah.
Not repeating it. You know, there's a lot of people who repeat the screw up, right?
I call them repeat offenders.
Yeah.
Like somebody calls me, Trevor, I'm going through this. I said, oh, you still doing that dumb shit? Don't ever call me again.
Yeah.
We're not going to have this conversation again. I literally like, get the fuck out of here. Like, bro, we're not talking. You still doing that? Kill yourself. Jamie Foxx, you say in the episode. Braxton, follow something sharp. Yeah. That's the justice. And that is a much better way to say it. I think the other part that I was getting at was the importance of not letting success get to your head either.
Yeah.
Because if you're not screwing up, you're kind of being successful.
I think,
and Kevin Gates said it. If it never fails, then grind smarter.
yeah,
That's the one thing. So what do you do when it's really going well outside of just, telling the team, hey, we got to keep doing better. Like, don't get stuck here. But for others, that don't have you, things are going really well. What do you do to do even better? Because at that point, life is good. You're taking the family on vacations. The money's where it needs to be. And the success has now gotten to you.
it's gotten to you. It's too late in a way. Like I've been there, man. Like I've been it when the success got to my head, and multiple times in my life. Multiple times in my life. I would say, like, especially now, man, if you're an influencer, like, you're going to have to think more outside of just being an influencer, like, right? Because at any moment, your shit could be gone. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you're, like, an influencer who's, like, successfully got a lot of eyeballs, you may want to consider, like, teaming up with a company and creating a product or learning how to create your own product and find other ways to optimize your brand outside of just being someone who does daily content. You know what I mean? On videos and shit like that. Like, like, for example, you're looking to come out with different supplements now.
And literally, I have a list in my phone of the top 10 dog toys. I'm going to literally do a review on all the dog toys because my dogs tear everything up. Matter of fact, Maya just swallowed a goddamn fucking penguin the other day. And she's the second time. And I remember, look, it fucked me up so bad the first time. She had a dry eraser in her stomach for 2 fucking months. Yeah. And I'm like, cleaning some in the kitchen. She starts throwing up. I go, this bitch didn't throw up a puppy. Now, mind you, that's not probable, but it looked like a fucking dog come out of her throat. Damn. So you go, there are toys that these people are creating. And Tron fucking threw up a fucking squirrel. And I don't mean I mean like a toy squirrel.
Yeah. With Nala.
Yeah. And then, so you go, these toys can also kill your dog. I can show you an x-ray right now of a girl who I know who has a bully who's got a tennis ball in his fucking rib cage. And he throws up, he has seizures and various things, but she's so scared that he'll die if he has surgery that she's like, he's going to ride it out. He's 5 years old.
Jesus.
Damn. But like, this is a real fucking thing, people.
Yeah.
So, all that is going to be done, but I'm like, we got to figure out how to like look at the whole market because I got dogs that literally chew stuff up. They just want to destroy it.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so there's a buddy of mine who owns a company called Instructable dog toys. Yeah. Fucking durable as fuck, man. Like when I say durable, they are durable from their round balls. Too. Yeah. They're dope as shit and they got great tug toys and stuff like that. The only thing that lasts, it's an ugly ass gray chew toy, but the dogs, man, that fucking thing lasts forever. It lasts forever.
Say less. That's good. That's definitely going to be the goal moving forward because, you spend all this money, right? Yeah. And I want my dogs to have a good time. Yeah. Just to have a good time. And the risk, it costing me a lot of money. Sure. It costing me a lot of money. But yeah, and part of our impact, the one thing that I think we live at, and if you think about people, we talked a little bit about success, a little bit about screw ups. Elon Musk sold one of his first businesses at about 18 for $316 million. At that point, like Cuban and some others at the time, they could have bought small islands, right? But it's the competition. It's the opportunity to better the world and better life itself. So those are the things why success never gets to those guys because, Mark Cuban's coming out with the thing where medication is going to be more affordable for people in lower end areas. Yeah. Most people don't know that Steve Jobs wanted to put computer in every place, but Congress wouldn't pass a law. Yeah. Literally, he stayed in Washington for a solid week lobbying, and the one person, Bob Dole, wouldn't even bring it to the floor. Yeah. And everybody had voted on, to be clear, it was a tax write-off that he would get for putting Apple computers in every school because he said a computer was like a bicycle for the mind, and he didn't want kids, most importantly, to get too far behind, get left out. Now, man, fast forward 20 years later, what happens? Every school's making investment in Apple iPads and computers. Sure. And we're talking $16 million investments at a middle school. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing when we talked about time, patience. Yeah. He's no longer here, but the goal is still being executed because now people understand we need that fucking computer. Yeah. Then something like COVID happens. How are we going to teach the kids that people don't have iPads? Yeah. Everything and all things are going to go wrong in life. It's just, and if you think something's going to work, it's not going to work. So let me ask you this. When did you know, like for you, there's a definitive moment in most businesses and in life. When did you know like you were onto something with the X-Dog Fest? My bad.
From the first launch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from the first launch, we had a shit ton of sales. right off the top of the bat. Like I was like, oh shit, we got something real. And that's when it got crazy because that was, you want to hear about a screw up? Here's a screw up. You order the inventory, right?
Yeah.
You've never ordered inventory overseas. You never dealt with manufacturing, right? Well, one, it took 30 days longer to get than what was told. I didn't know that was going to happen. That was initially a fuck up. People were pre-ordered, so people were expecting their orders to come in on time. Then they get them, and all of a sudden, I get a bunch of customer service calls because the fucking straps were breaking. And the stitching went out on them. So that was a screw up. But now we have a very, very extremely durable vest. You know, it made me consciously aware. Again, I ate. What would it cost me, for example, $1 more to make it more durable? I was spending $6-7 plus time and effort to take them to the tailors and getting them stitched, and then refunding fucking people their products. Yeah. So you think you initially come in, you're coming out the gate. And next thing you know, your first initial order, you're 20 bands in the hole on top of what you initially thought, Oh,
man.
So that was a fucking screw up. Yeah. But, I mean, it was a screw up. Again, what I say, like, don't do it again.
Yeah.
But
it's something you believed in, too. And that's I think that's the beauty in screwing up, though, too.
Yeah.
It's everything. Like, they have a saying, and Reid Hoffman talks about it in Silicon Valley, fail fast.
Yeah.
Because if we fail fast, then we can figure out what needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And then we can move forward. And even in that experience, this is why so many people get shifted around in Silicon Valley a lot, because it's like, oh, you got experience. Good. Come over here, do this.
Sure.
And that's one of the most important things in life, in my opinion, is experiences, man. Just like a video game, that XP keeps going up. As long as you're learning, you'll get past level 10.
Yeah.
And right now, you're on level 9,000.
Yeah.
In comparison,
and climbing.
and climbing. Why? Because today you're more sure than you've ever been about this vest and what it's going to do for dogs, and potentially the world of dogs, to be clear, and people, because the dog needs you to walk it too. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is like this doesn't just transcend over to your business. This transcends over to life. My relationship now and my current personal relationship with my significant other. Like it's 20,000 times healthier than my past shit, because I worked on myself, and held myself accountable and learned from all my prior mistakes, and took my knowledge that I had in those other relationships that I failed at and improved them here. That's why I'm like, with my new kid coming, like my whole thing is like, I want to make sure that I teach him perspective on failure. Yeah. Like it's going to be very interesting, but I think this kid's going to be a fucking genius.
So let's try to, let's give him one thing that we all, at one point in time, kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
And specific to, I like the statement you made earlier about being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
I literally, and I repeat, I had a conversation with Marcus at the beginning of this year. I said, guys, whatever you do, be honest with me. Mm-hmm. At all times, be honest. I can work with that.
Self-honesty, man, is a superpower, because it allows you to have an open mind to other people's perspective. Yeah. That's where people fucking fail. How many times have you seen online where somebody it's more important for them to be right about their opinion instead of learning about other people's perspective? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's fucking crazy. And so
self-righteous bastards.
And if you're able to kind of understand, it may open up to new ideas. I mean, some of the opinions of other people inspired new details on the product.
Man, I literally untyped something. Somebody messaged me something, and I'll be like, "No, don't." And I'm just like, even last night, I was like, "Help me understand. Make this make sense. Why you think it's a good idea? Because maybe they're seeing something I'm not."
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I have to practice a lot, because sometimes I get so sure about my way.
Yeah.
That it's like, this is going to work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always, which is fine, but most time it does. But I'm like, it also lends people the opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Because them coming to me with that perspective, I get to sharpen it up.
Yeah.
I get to sharpen it up and give them more perspective, because a lot of times they then only get fixated on one thing, and me, I'm thinking about everything at all times whenever I'm engulfed in something. So self-honesty was one of those. Was there something that happened that you were like, fuck, I got to quit lying to myself?
I think it was just a multitude of a bunch of things, a lot of it had to do with leadership.
Yeah.
I had to, again, get mentors. And this is why I tell everybody, man, like, I have these 5 things that I'm gonna do a post on. a video on. It says, here's 5 things that's going to shorten your dog's lifespan and lower the quality of its life, right? And one of those things is don't get a dog trainer.
Yeah.
Why would you need a dog trainer? They're only going to help you communicate with your dog better. It's going to cause less stress in your dog, less stress in your life. It's going to slow down the aging process of their living cells, because a stressed out body is going to cause more inflammation, and it's going to it's going to fast track the lifespan of a living cell, right? And so you should get mentors. And so once I started getting mentors, and they're just like, well, that's on you. It's your fault. Once I learned it was my fault, shit, dude, like it changed everything for me, because now I go, oh, I can change this now. Yeah. Because if you spend fucking countless hours trying to change someone else, and you're not going to change them. They are who they are. Either they got it or they don't. And, you can tell if someone got it. You can tell if someone don't, Yeah. So I just think for me, it was leadership in all areas of my life. If I have a fucking eating disorder, it's because I'm fucking it's my fault. It ain't nobody else's fault. It ain't fucking the companies who made the product's fault. They purposely put the addictive ingredients in those potato chips, right?
They put that crack in there, low key.
Delicious, though.
Yeah. What about you, man?
For me, there's a multitude of different times, but all were based around lack of consideration. And then which, of course, then leads to care. A few different things. Back even when I lived with you, and you actually called me out on initially. That was one of those major moments. And then even as recent as yesterday, we had that conversation about what happened with Gia.
Yeah.
And so that was, and like I said, I told you, I was like, and the moment when I found out about what happened, I already knew that I had fucked up.
Yeah. But and people, I'm very clear.
Let me ask you.
Jamarcus understands. Matter of fact, just so we're clear, for the record, I told him if that ever happens, it's going to be the last conversation we ever have.
Yeah.
I don't play, because if you do have Stan wants $1 billion exit here. I told him I know how to get to $100 million. He's met 3 of my $10 million friends. That being said, mine is Dan Tassett, who weighed $3,600 an hour 10 years ago when I'm sitting with this guy. Invited me to China. I said no. There are so many things I could have seen because I was in my own way. I just was like, he says, Trevor, you keep acting like you're not worth more. And my thing is, I don't need more. I'm good. I don't want to be that successful, but I've always been walked in opportunity and I never took advantage of it. So for mine, it's like the world needs me to be who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And if I can embrace that and deal with the shit, even though I don't want to, then I can help people like Jamarcus be a part of X-Dog, and all those people just continue to be better.
Yeah.
Because I'm clear, and I get invited to these places. I've been like that since I was a kid, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. I said no too much.
It sounded like you had a strong case of imposter syndrome.
Nah, I'm assured every moment. Matter of fact,
no, imposter syndrome, where you don't feel like you're qualified to do certain things, so you get in your own way. Where it's like I said, we lie to ourselves, right? We don't feel like, for example, like I got so embarrassed all the time, and I lost a lot of confidence because people are like, "Well, where's your certification? Where did you go to college? What do you know about nutrition?" And then when I'd sit there and talk nutrition to them,
they didn't even know nothing.
Fucking running circles around them, and I'm like, well. I'm sitting here hosting conversations with a PhD biochemist and PhD nutritionist, and I'll bring up things, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think you're right. That would be a great ingredient to put in there, Mm-hmm. And they're like, "We just never thought about it because I wasn't. They say don't think inside the box, don't think outside the box. Think about the endless possibilities, right?" And so it was like, for me, I took a lot of things that had a lot of strong clinical studies behind them.
Yeah.
Why aren't we using them in dogs? Like, for example, Creapure or creatine. It's just one of those things, or DMG or colostrum and shit like that. Just certain ingredients that that we think outside the box. Why isn't there a bone and organ supplement?
And that one right there is the God, people. And I would agree to a certain degree, but my thing is, I literally I'm as extroverted as I seem. I don't like being bothered.
Yeah.
I like Drake said in the song, "My privacy about the only thing I need back." My dad forced me to go to skating rings when I was a kid. He forced me to hang out with kids. I really don't like people.
Yeah.
And I never have.
Yeah.
And it's harder now because you know more, and they just don't want to, they can't do shit.
Yeah.
And I'm a person like you. You can pick up a skill real fast, right?
Uh-huh.
And you can execute that thing. So I'm like, why don't you guys just do this, and I can do it in 2 seconds?
Yeah.
And it doesn't register like it took you that much time.
Yeah.
A guy was going to charge me $3,000 to do videos back in the day. I sat on my grandmother's couch and did one of a kid all handheld. I said, this is all he did? Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I'm saying?
That's when you probably said, oh, I got something here.
We're done here. We're done here. But for me, I get annoyed, and it's like the syndrome would be like Zuckerberg and others. We got to find the thing that makes us tick.
Yeah.
And the one consistent thing for me, as I've sat down and spoken very openly about the dogs, is the dogs.
Yeah.
Like the stuff we're going to be doing moving forward, even with the episodes of Fitbully TV and just dog tooth stuff, I'm like, damn, them dogs are with me through fucking everything.
Yeah.
You like really start telling that truth, you go, fuck, bro, these dogs ain't going nowhere. They're not going, and then it jumpstarts you again.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to find that one thing that you can keep doing and don't get bored with. Because when you're super smart, like you, I know Jamarcus is smart as well. You get bored. I get bored very quickly. I'm over it.
Yeah.
We taking pictures. Like, if we want to cook, I can outcook. You want to do anything, I'm going to do it better than you. All day, every day. I get bored. That's it? That's all you guys are doing?
Yeah.
Because as I told somebody, we're traveling. There's only 7 wonders of the world.
Mm.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to travel. There's only 7 wonders in the whole fucking world. Where I'm going. After you go see that, what else you need to go do?
Yeah.
So you're like, is the world really that big?
Yeah.
Or is your mind that small?
Yeah. Our mind's that small. Not our mind. Our mind's big. It's our thinking capabilities.
Yeah. There you go.
Because you got to think about this, man. When we're kids, we're so imaginative, right? We have the biggest imagination. Then we go to fucking school and they're like, sit down, be quiet, behave, don't do this, don't do that. And we're getting fucking systematically trained not to think big and not to believe in ourselves. You know, like, oh, you got a fucking D on a fucking paper. You're not smart.
Yeah.
You know, bullshit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, man, I completely agree. And even with me getting into the visual and the audio stuff and, with Trev and all that, for me personally, I remember being in that creative state as a kid. I used to love music videos, all those kinds of things. And then now now this stuff is in a sense reborn. I feel like a kid again, man.
Yeah.
I'm having fun doing this stuff, you know? And that's the thing is like, it is crazy how that happens. You go to school and then they systematically program you not to want to, in a sense, excel really at life.
Yeah. To work for other people.
There you go. There you go.
And there's where the problem begins. I wrote a poem once called "I Wonder When We Stop Wondering."
Yeah.
And the beauty about it is my family didn't allow that. I used to tell my grandpa, "You got to get him to school." He's like, he'll get there after he eats breakfast. Yeah. He'll get there when he's done doing this. Yeah. He's not rushing nowhere.
Yeah.
My dad made it very clear that you were never going to learn anything in school. I was like, what am I going for then? And he made me write papers and he would like literally go to Barnes and Nobles and get math books. And I'd be at the table studying geometry and reading all this stuff before school. Yeah. He said, the teacher's never going to give you nothing you don't need. Yeah. And nothing you want and everything you don't need. Yeah. So school and education happens outside of school. Yeah. And I wrote that motherfucker papers growing up for forever, man. Yeah. So he never allowed me to be less than. So that's why even when people are like patting me on the back, I'm like, bro, why doesn't everybody think you're supposed to be this good? Yeah. That's what I really don't get it. Like, this is normal. Yeah. I was supposed to be this good. These things are supposed to happen. You just do the work. That's the difference. Exactly. So let's end this with this, people. Look, so far, great talk. So hopefully you learned something, most importantly, about yourself in this. What are some things that you want to highlight today about the X-Dog Fest? We're going to do Would You Rather, and then we'll do that. Okay. All right. So I got a challenge for you. Would you rather make $2 million a year selling something that you don't believe in, or $1 million a year, something that you are extremely passionate about? Man, that's so easy. Passion all day, man. And you still said $1 million. Yeah. Yeah, for real. I know you was like 40,000 a year. I could do the video stuff for $100K a year and be happy. Yeah, man. Like, what you mean, bro? Like, yeah, because it's easy. Yeah. Most people will make $1 million in their life. They just don't know it. Yeah. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to like really save and like duplicate all this stuff. Yeah. But that's easy, man. You got to go with $1 million for passion. Yeah. Because $1 million, $2 million, it ain't going to really be that big of a difference. No, man. Yeah. And you can still reinvest that. I know. And you got to pay taxes either way. So yeah. Sure. All right. So the question is, what about the vest? Well, what are some things that you want to highlight about this? I know that you've gotten, we won't say gung ho, yeah, but the anxiety component. I'm almost sure, but correct me if I'm wrong. That like somebody kind of wrote an intuitive post about how it helped their dog, and that sparked some more interest. And you're like, let me see what else this thing. More people have, and then more people did, and you're like, fuck, this thing helps with anxiety too. Well, I realize that I haven't taken the initiative to put out the information the valuable information about the benefits of X-Dog Vest on our site
well enough. So I'm creating different sections. And so when I started writing down all the benefits of the X-Dog Vest, anxiety issues is one of the things. And so I got deeper into the current products out there right now. There's a product out there. I don't want to say the company's name just because I don't want any legality issues. I don't know how that works and shit. But basically it's an anxiety shirt, right? And I looked on Amazon, just on Amazon alone, they have like 40,000 reviews. And I'm just like, what do they focus on? Well, they focus on compression, right? And then I looked up weighted blankets for dogs, and there's weighted blankets out there for dogs, right? And obviously our vest can add weight. And then I got into creating the X-Dog anxiety equation. But then I started even getting deeper where it's like, okay, it can help with anxiety issues. But then I also started talking to my behaviorist friends and dealing with behavior issues like reactive dogs on a leash, or dogs being destructive around the house, digging, excessive barking, tearing up their beds and stuff like that. Well, that's a behavior issue. And I go, okay, well, the weight is important because when it comes to like fear anxiety, like thunderstorms or fireworks, for example, you don't need a lot of weight. The compression is what's the clinical proven study to address something like that. But when it comes to behavior issues like a reactive dog on a leash, weight is going to be a very important factor. You want to just load that vest up to that 10%. You put that on that dog, the dog's like, it ain't worried about anything else being reactive around him. It's worried about, okay, I got to focus on balancing this shit right now. And so, or you have a dog that's destroying things around the house. That's always linked back. That's about 99% linked back to not enough exercise or pent up stressed energy, right? And so that's where that plays a role in. So I look at the X-Dog Vest and I go, okay, well, if you're exercising more now, right, so you have compression, you have weight, where does exercise play a role? Well, exercise also plays a role in mental health. A lot of dogs that are lazy or lethargic is mostly a combination of things. One, they're on a shitty diet, so their body's inflamed. So exercising your dog can improve the digestive tract, right? It's going to fast track the calories going through the dog. In addition to, depression is a big deal. And when you exercise in humans, it releases endorphins, and those endorphins improve. It's just clinically proven. They've got so many studies where exercising 30 minutes a day can help you with depression. Yeah. And so now we're talking about a mental health. So you got not just anxiety from stressors or fear, not just anxieties not just behavior issues, and not just mental health issues, and then we got fitness, and so performance. And so it's crazy. Like when I, again, initially developed this product, it was just to improve, just to satisfy my dog's energy levels, right? And to build muscle and improve performance. Yeah. But now it's more than that. It's just a much deeper, it's an enhancement harness. And it's going to enhance a dog's overall life and well-being, depending on how you utilize it. And so now I got to educate the world on how to properly utilize this, because just like a leash and collar, my goal is to have this as common as a tool as a leash and collar or a dog food bowl in everybody's house. It's just important to have. I really believe in it, but they got to utilize the tool correctly,
There we go. Well, people, hopefully, again, you learned something. Definitely get you a X-Dog vest. I assure you, I've been buying them since version 1 and have had multiple and will continue to do so. Glad that in some form or fashion, we've now all connected some dots, and now we're on the same path, if you would. Yeah. Specific to dog and just bettering our dogs and continue to better our quality of life. So go ahead and hit them with that close, man.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. Again, Jamarcus, thank you. Trevor, thank you for showing up, man. You guys are killing it. You guys got a lot of information. I appreciate you guys being a part of this podcast. And thank you guys for supporting us. If you found any golden nuggets, we brought you any type of value whatsoever, man, like, share, support us, man. Give us a badass review. We would definitely really appreciate it. And as always, Team X Dog Strong.